Well, UPS says they delivered something. Oh, good God. I've got to stay off Facebook Marketplace late at night. Another computer? Where am I going to put all these things? Welcome back to Broke Electronics. I'm Lee. Welcome, and forgive me for that little whimsical introduction. Yes, believe it or not, I did buy a computer. Surprise, surprise. And what did I get? Well, of course, right here. And if you're looking at it, of course, you're going to go, it's a Mac Pro. It'd have to either be a Mac Pro or Power Mac G5, but the two optical drive bays solve that one pretty easily. Now, you got to be wondering, why? What possible need do you have for another Mac Pro? I don't have a need for it. But I'll tell you what, we're going to take a bit of a look at the machine now, and maybe I'll try to explain how I ended up acquiring this computer. And if you'd like to know the answer to that, please stay tuned. Okay, we'll start out here with a view from the back. Power, of course. This is the latch for opening the side door. We are missing a couple of slot covers, the PCIe slots. I can deal with that pretty easily. Graphics card here has, not sure what this is. This has got a DVI and a mini DisplayPort connector, so kind of slim there. 3 USB 2.0 to FireWire 800, optical in and out, and audio in and out there, and 2 gigabit Ethernet plugs. Now, if we take a look, yeah, you can see it didn't exactly survive shipping in perfect condition, and that's unfortunate. It is unlikely to have any problem with the machine booting up. So anyhow, let's now move to the front. And closer look at the 2 optical drive bays. I've never actually seen one that had more than one, although I know some people have affixed their machines with more than one. Now down here, why did I buy this machine? This was advertised on Facebook Marketplace by a seller, interestingly enough, in Bakersfield, California. That's interestingly enough. I have a daughter, an adopted daughter, who was born in Bakersfield. I've been there once, but I just thought it was interesting that the computer came from her hometown. All right, so power button, headphone jack, 2 more USB 2 ports, and 2 FireWire 800. Now, when I looked at the ad on Facebook Marketplace, I certainly was not looking for another Mac Pro. I actually, at the time, was looking for a Yikes. However, in looking at the picture, somebody had posted a question, what year is this? Well, the picture in the advertisement had FireWire 400 and 800 on the front. So, being the helpful person that I am, I answered the person's question about what year, saying it has to be somewhere between 2006 and 2007, since it's running Sierra, according to the ad. I'm guessing 2008, although that would require a patcher, but it's certainly possible. It's not possible in 2006, 2007. The furthest you can get those to go is El Capitan. You get a lot of hoops to jump through on that. I've got a video on updating my 2006 to El Cap. All right, so the seller then replied that it is a 2009 4,1. And I said, well, not according to that picture, it isn't. because of the FireWire 400 port that showed up there. So she messaged me. I'm suddenly getting interested because she seemed, in most respects, to know what she was talking about. And I'm wondering, if she's really got a 4,1 with a FireWire 400 port, she's got some kind of prototype going there. So I was real interested. So she sent me a picture of this actual machine. Unfortunately, only the front view, so again, I don't know if that damage on the back handle was there or not. And in fact, it had the two FireWire 800s. So, I was in the process of declining, but, thinking about it, she came down on the price a pretty fair chunk. And given that it's a dual tray, I assume that her listing was accurate in that regard. A dual CPU tray 4,1, it was a very, very reasonable amount of money. All right. Now, let's see what we can tell from the side here. Got some scratch marks there. That's common enough. This, after all, is a 12-year-old computer, so more scratch marks at least. Some of that may be cleanable. That's where the damage is. And these things, in order to try to fix this, you basically have to disassemble the entire machine to get just the handle off, and you can never get it back to the way it was supposed to be. All right, we'll open her up. And what have we got? Give me a second here and we shed some light on this. Okay. All right, this is kind of unfortunate. There's only one hard drive. That's normal enough. They shipped with one hard drive. But there would be 3 empty sleds, and those sleds are gone, much like the 2 PCI slot covers. All 3 of the PCIe slots are available. And ATI Radeon, these shipped, I believe, with NVIDIA cards standard, so that would be an upgrade. What exactly it is, I don't know. We'll have to find that out. And yes, we do have a dual CPU tray. Yeah, the ad said 8 gigs of RAM, so we've got 4 here and we'll see on the other side there's 4 more. Those are 1 gig sticks. That's unfortunate because those are almost useless. All right, now the one difference between this machine and the 2010 is they are virtually the same machine. The tray on the dual tray models is slightly different. The single trays are exactly the same. So if you were to buy a single tray 4,1 and want to upgrade it to a dual tray, you have to find specifically a dual tray for a 2009. The dual trays for the 2010 that was sold up through 2012 are all the same. They're a lot easier to find, therefore. And the trays themselves can be quite expensive. Okay. I think that's all we're going to tell. I'm quite sure there's only one optical drive in there, but probably rather than poking around more on the inside of the machine, the best thing to do at this point, let's connect it up, boot it up, and we can let the system itself tell us what we've got. So if you want to take a look at that, stay tuned. All right, if you're wondering what's going on, I started up the machine and it went to the sign-in screen with a username of Mac Pro, and I have no idea what the password is. I tried to just bypass it because sometimes you won't have a password, particularly since this is supposed to be a clean install. Oh, I guess password, password with a capital P, user 1234, anything I could think of, Mac Pro, didn't work. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going into, I've booted into recovery mode. And we're here in terminal. Okay, reset password. All right. And this does exactly what we want to do. Okay, now, since I don't want to reveal what the password of the machine is, stay tuned. Okay, account password has been reset. And now we're going to restart the machine. Now, actually, of course, the password wouldn't have come up in the clear, and I apologize for the weird angle. You can hear the fan seem to ramp up when you first turn it on, but then it stops very quickly. Yeah, once it chimes, that quits. So we should be getting an Apple very soon here. There we go. And it was booting into Sierra. I could tell from what I could see of the wallpaper. So now we've learned how to reset the password. In earlier versions of Mac OS, back in PowerPC days, you could just boot into the install CD or DVD and just, reset password was a menu choice. Now you've got to go through terminal. Okay. And we're in. The system was unable, oh yeah. Let's see. Let's just create a new keychain. Hopefully that's going to be okay. I mean, I could easily simply have Adobe Creative Cloud. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So this, as I say, it's supposed to be a clean install with a certain amount of software installed on it. I just want to ensure that, so I'm going to take a look through things and then we'll see what's actually up. So stay tuned. Okay, the machine is up and running, but I had to show you something because I've never seen anything quite like this. When I opened it up, I saw this spinning hard drive in there, and I figured, okay, that's the boot drive, so the OS is going to be on that drive. I booted it up and found there was another drive listed. Said, okay, there's a partition for the system, and then a storage partition. Nope. See that under there? This business? There's a 128 gigabyte SSD just sort of stuck into the SATA ports and taped on to the top of the board. Oh, good gracious Lord. This machine is going to take some work, but it is working. Okay, now let's get into the machine and we can take a little bit of a look together at what's going on. Stay tuned. Well, okay. Quite an adventure. I mean, the first thing that popped up, all that was on the desktop was this untitled folder. There's nothing in the untitled folder. Why it's there, I don't know, but we're going to get rid of it. Appears to be stuff in the trash. AMTlib framework. Okay. So, yeah, the business about the taped in SS. I've never seen anything quite like that. I saw a Draga 1 video once where he stuck an SSD in a very similar manner and then stuffed foam underneath it to hold it into place. Oh, but anyhow, so basically what I did, I opened up Disk Utility and thinking this was going to be two separate partitions on one physical drive. There's actually 128 gigabyte SSD in there. Well, we'll do something about that, certainly. Okay, we can look at about this Mac. Get a better idea what we've got here. 2.2 by 2.93 gigahertz quad-core Xeons. Those would be Nehalem processors. This is one of the higher end models. I think the lower end model is 2.26. Anyhow, that's not nothing. Now, I saw memory. I had assumed there would be 4 1 gigabyte modules, which didn't excite me too much. Turns out there's 4 2 gigabyte modules. The thing is, with a Mac Pro, they are designed so that one bank of RAM is for one processor and the other bank of RAM is for the other processor. Now, it obviously functions this way, but if you've only got 8 gig of RAM to put in there, the smarter thing to do would be to put 4 gig on one side, 4 gig on the other side, balance that out. All right, take a quick look at the System Profiler. Yep, Mac Pro 4,1. Graphics and displays. Yeah, it's an ATI Radeon HD 4870. This was an upgrade. This was available from Apple at a couple $100 or whatever. Upgrade over the stock NVIDIA card with half a meg of VRAM. How about that? My late 2005 PowerMac G5 Quad has got the same amount of VRAM in it. Isn't that interesting? Okay, and yeah, I usually use a dual monitor setup on this machine. I cannot do that simply because I don't have, actually I probably have an adapter so I could make use of the mini display port, but not that big a deal because I have a better plan anyway. Wi-Fi is working. We're not signed into anything, but that's okay. I did plug in the 802.11n that's the best we're going to get out of this, and there is Bluetooth functioning. That all came standard, I do believe. I don't think you could get them without. All right. Other things to take a look at. Yep, the whole Adobe Creative Cloud suite appears to be in here. Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro 10, installed in 2017. So it's going to be an older version of Final Cut, but still might be interesting to look at. I see no reason at this point to move from DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is free after all. Logic Pro 10. Now this was installed back on 2016. Again, it's going to be an outdated version of Logic Pro, but I'll be interested in taking a look at that. It's basically for audio only recording. I've just been using GarageBand, which has actually worked fine for me, being that I do everything all acoustic anyway. All right. And other than those, the OneDrive's in. Oh yeah, OneDrive's in there because the Office suite is installed. Uh, okay, so I've got some setting up to do with this. I'm gonna have to sign into my own iCloud account, of course. I'm going to do a bunch of other things setting the machine up. I have some upgrades. The upgrades I'm going to do first, got to do something about that RAM, and I do have RAM available, so I think I can bring it up a good bit here. And graphics card. I do have an RX 580. I took the RX 580 out of the 2008 Mac Pro and replaced that. So it's got, I mean, it's got a card with 3 gig of video RAM in there, so it's doing fine. And we'll put the RX 580 in here. I'll use one of the Mac flashed ones at first. So that's going to be the first round of upgrades. Longer term, there are 3 firmware flashes that will need to be done to this machine. It needs, first of all, to have a firmware flash to take it from the 4.1 firmware to the 2010 5.1 firmware. And that needs to be done in order to upgrade the processors, which I intend to do. So we get that done. There'll be a firmware flash, I believe, installing High Sierra. The other 5.1s that I have dealt with all came with High Sierra pre-installed, so that was already done. But that firmware flash allows booting from NVMe drives. And there's a firmware flash that will come when we get to installing Mojave, which will allow for the booting from an NVMe drive. And I happen to have a free 1 terabyte NVMe drive that will end up being the boot drive for this machine. So there's a lot. I've got a USB 3 PCI card to get in there. So that's going to take up 2 of the available slots. So there's a lot that's going to be done with this machine. This has simply been an overview. I had thought maybe of doing some of those upgrades, but not right now. All right. Be good to other people. They need it and deserve it. Be good to yourselves. We can't be what we need to be in this world if we're not good to ourselves. When we do that, we can make this world a better place. It isn't yet, so please take very, very good and careful care. All right, we're going to have several videos coming up in this machine with its upgrade saga, and we'll be back into PowerPC land before you know it, along with a bunch of other things. So, until those things are available on the channel, this has been Broken Electronics.